Welcome to Drinks Coach. Yes, you guys out there, thanks for coming back. Particularly you, Tidy. Hi, Julian. Right, so today, a very, very quick one, this one. Just proof that I can do it. I make it quick by using two wines. Fair enough. I have a very good friend called Dylan Koleff, who's a master sommelier, and Stoyan, who both have a business called The Old Cellar. And The Old Cellar is a mail-order company selling really fascinating, delicious, hand-picked Bulgarian wines in the main. There are a few other bits and bobs as well, but Bulgaria is their flow. They have, and you've seen on my show, please go back and have a look, the best fruit brandies on earth. People out there might know that I'm thinking about writing a book on fruit brandies, things like Poire Williams and Mirabelle and all those things, which I think are a much more attractive and beautiful way to finish a meal rather than a big heavy XO cognac. These are examples of a producer. This is Distillery Azaric, which are based in Serbia. I think some of the greatest distilleries in the world are in Serbia. This one was Merlot or Apricot. This one was Williams Piano, which is Poire William. I can go through it so fast. You know, Dylan brought that to me last week. It's empty. Don't judge. I can see you judging. There was a reason for that, but moving on. They've decided to make their own wines, or at least to blend their own wines. And they're made with friends who I'm a huge fan of. There are a couple of people that are, I think you call it cuckoo winemakers. Is it cuckoo winemaker or squirrel wine? I can't remember. Where they go to other wineries and make wine in situ in different wineries. I don't know if they have, I think they've now got their own winery. But we're talking about, of course, Peter Georgiev and Radistan Milkov. Georgiev Milkov have featured on the show before. Please look back, go through. If you go to videos and search Bulgaria, you will see some of their wines appear. And they make these extraordinary wines. Some of the best, I think, in small quantities though, but not crazy money. They make, I think, for my money, the best wines in Bulgaria. These guys are the top guys right now. Very modern looking. They're not afraid to try a few very unusual things. They make an extraordinary rosé made in a way that I think was probably only worth explaining if I have a glass with me in front of me. But what we've got here are a red and white, which Dylan and Stoyan on their website are selling for £17.50. Friendsips, it's called. Friendsips. See what they did there? Quite like that. And it's a picture of Dylan with the two aforementioned winemakers on a barrel, surfing a wave. Yeah, man. That's really cool. Love it. That's what it's all about, isn't it? And it is about friendships and friendsips. He's using a technique in these wines. I don't know if he's aware of it. I'm pretty sure he is, because he's a clever guy, Dylan. Which I call the Kim Milne way of selling wines. Now, Kim Milne is a fantastic winemaker, a very senior winemaker. He's been a flying winemaker for many, many decades. Not 100% sure where he's landed these days, but I think he's probably head of some big conglomerate winemaking company somewhere. He's a Kiwi. And Kim used to make wine for me /us / the partnership when I was a wine buyer at Waitrose. And he used to make the wines for us in Sicily. Now, there was a wine called Catarato and a wine called Nero d'Avola. Now, these are wines that I've featured on the show before, particularly Nero d'Avola. Now, Nero d'Avola is a wonderful and highly capable grape variety from Sicily. It actually tastes a bit like olives, which is why I like it. It's very Italian. But when we tried to sell Nero d'Avola, it was an absolute bust back in the day. And we were trying to sell it for $3.99. There was just zero chance of doing it. So we figured that we should start off with a little bit in a blend and then work our way up. So what we did was we put Syrah in with the Nero d'Avola and then slowly built up the percentage of Nero d'Avola. So it was called Syrah Nero d'Avola, and people would buy it on the strength it had Syrah written on the label. In the same way, Catarato, the wine I just mentioned from the west end of Sicily, we couldn't sell that either, but we had very high quality Catarato, lovely and limey and fresh and zingy. So we chucked a bit of Chardonnay in it and called it Chardonnay Catarato, and people obviously bought it because it said Chardonnay on the label. They thought maybe Catarato was a region or something. And this way you can introduce people to grape varieties which they're really quite resistant to, particularly ones that sound a bit former Eastern Bloc. So what we've got here is a wine which is a Sauvignon Blanc Dimyiat. And this wine is a Merlot Rubin. So let's talk about what those two mean. Dimyiat is a variety which I think people believe to be indigenous, actually, to Thrace, to this part of Bulgaria, the southeast of Bulgaria. So it shares Thrace with Turkey. And I'm quite a fan of Dimyiat when it's made properly. It's lovely and fresh, and it's got a bit of florality to it. It's maybe has some ancient connection to Muscat. Almost all the grape varieties down there do, but it's not soapy or anything like that. It's lovely, and we all like a bit of Sauvignon Blanc, even from a warm region like this. It's got a lovely, warm, succulent quince and some kind of sour fruit there. Quince and persimmon palate there. It tastes a bit like persimmons, if you like that kind of thing. Very much an Israeli Turkey kind of Bulgarian fruit anyway. But it's kind of sweet, sour, bitter, lovely. But quince as well. I think it's a delicious wine. It's really lovely, pleasant for a small release, especially for those people who are selling the wonderful food from the region. This is the kind of wine which would make the perfect house red and house white. Friendsips, Sauvignon Blanc, Dimyiat. So Dimyiat is the second most widely planted grape variety in Bulgaria, probably after Riccatsatelli. I'm guessing, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, I just think that this is the whole package. So what we're doing here is you're drinking a Sauvignon Blanc, but a Sauvignon which is relatively moderately neutral. So the Dimyiat's coming through. It really does. It's Dimyiat with stabilising wheels on, like you know when you were 3 and you had your first chopper bike and your mum put those little stabilisers on. It's kind of like that. But on the strength of that, I think you're pretty much certain that you try a straight Dimyiat. Again, trying to keep this one short. This is a 10-minuter. Go to the red wine. I'm fascinated by this. Again, God, my eyesight's literally failed since I spoke to you guys a couple of years ago. Well, that's Peter Radistan and Dylan on the barrel again. Merlot, we've heard of that, right? There's a lot of Merlot in Bulgaria, and actually some quite good Merlot in Bulgaria. But they do tend to like, domestically, quite a lot of oak on it still, so we're still trying to get them to rein back on that. But what's Merlot good for? War. Good God. Merlot is very, very good for softening Cabernet, softening any hard varieties, because it's a supple, juicy, textural variety, which allows a wine with tannin for the tannic components to attenuate and evolve slowly, because generally speaking, it's the tannic varieties which provide the interest down the line. And Merlot's come to warm-up act. It's like the Ainsley Harrier at the beginning of Ready Steady Cook. He's cracking a few jokes while you're waiting for the rest of the wine to evolve into something. Or it's just playing off it. It's like the straight man to the funny man. It's the Morecambe and Wise. So the only wise in this relationship is Merlot. And the Morecambe, the talent, although very much in this case a talent that needs careful handling, is Rubin. Last time I checked, there was only like 147 hectares, or was it even 47 hectares of Rubin planted in Bulgaria. But the universities, the winemaking universities in Sofia and Plovdiv, have been hard at it, producing varieties and crosses which really suit their climate. And for me, Rubin's the coolest one. Rubin, for me, right now, is the coolest grape variety in the whole of Bulgaria. You heard it from me first. Rubin, like the Jewish surname, Rubin. I went to school with Joshua Rubin. He was incredibly clever. I'd like to know what happened to him. He probably ended up at the MIT, twisting lecturers around his finger. Anyway, Rubin, what is Rubin? Well, somebody came up with the clever idea of mixing Nebbiolo, which we all know is a very tannic, age-worthy, but really fiercely edgy red, with Syrah, which is another edgy, fierce red, but actually in Bulgaria not so much. It's a little bit riper and softer. So crossing Nebbiolo with Syrah produces Rubin. So we've already got a wine which is slightly paler in colour than Syrah, but it has some nuances of a northern Italian wine, a bit of almost burgundy hues, so a bit tarriness, a bit of florality, but then you've still got that grip. So the Merlot balances it out nicely. So never tried this before. First sip on camera, lovely colour. But I like the idea of Merlot and Rubin, and you know, these two geniuses are very, very rarely off the mark. It smells like a serious southern Italian red, I would say, or middle Italian, maybe something like a Montepulciano from Illuminati or someone like that, maybe. Aglianico de Voltere, maybe. Palate's lovely and crunchy and fruity and inky. There are tannins there, but they're fruit tannins and they're ripe. Oh, that's delicious. Dylan, nice one. Whoa, okay. Dylan very kindly said, he dropped off a bottle of the Williamsburn and a bottle of these each and said, look, you've always tried to support us and you don't have to do anything with these. It'd be nice maybe if you did a little sort of shout out on social media or something like that. But no, his generosity has to be appreciated. And so that's the reason why I've done this short show. 12 minutes, Bulgarian wine. Just giving you an idea that Bulgaria hasn't stood still. It's not still stuck in the 60s like a lot of people think it is. And it has incredible food. It has incredibly cheap options from a tourism point of view. It has wonderful beaches, the Black Sea. What can I say? Friendsips is what it's all about. See you next time.